Thank you all for coming back. We are here for round two. Hey, can we this is it's real cold and dry, yeah, it's not a
my jacket.
You know what? I might take it. It's really bad.
All right, look at that.
Chivalry is not dead in venture capital, ladies and gentlemen. GGV, remember that.
There you go. True winner.
One of those Jesus for gentlemen.
I'm fine.
So the second round is going to be data analytics startups. So just the main reminder for now, just give questions while the presentation is going at Anthony Ha. If they start to get close to the time limit, get your noisemakers ready. So our first presenter is interactive video startup Bouce, and presenting from Bouce is Stephen Hepson.
Good morning, guys. I'm Stephen Hepson. I lead the engineering team at Bouce.com. So for those of us who don't know, Bouce provides an embedded commenting solution for publishers, brands, and other sites that post video. So it's a very easy to embed snippet that lets your writers, editors, and readers post comments at specific moments in the video, reply to comments, and share those out to Facebook and Twitter. We integrate with YouTube, Brightcove, and other video providers, and we also make it very easy to integrate with any kind of custom proprietary video hosting solution that you use, as long as it has a JavaScript interface. So really our focus is driving engagement and social sharing of video by bringing video-specific commenting to embedded players, which we think is seriously lacking from the market right now. So you're probably wondering what that has to do with analytics. And what that does have to do with analytics is because we've built out a way of interfacing with different video providers, both proprietary and third-party providers like YouTube and Brightcove, it makes it very easy for us to aggregate analytics about all the videos you post on your site, whether it's your own content that you're hosting on your own system or on Brightcove, or third-party content or user-generated content that maybe you're hosting on YouTube. It lets us aggregate all that into one dashboard. So instead of having to look at 2 or 3 different dashboards and compare different kinds of retention metrics and viewership metrics, you can see them all in one place. Also, because all of the commenting and sharing on Bouce videos happens at specific moments in time, kind of like if you've used SoundCloud, kind of like how commenting works on SoundCloud, when you look at in-video metrics like retention, you can show on the same axis where comments are and which of those comments are shared. So it makes it pretty easy to see if commenting drives people to skip ahead in a video or stay longer in a video, and if people are coming into places where comments have been shared, those kind of things, which as far as I know, you otherwise can't get a very good sense of. So from a technical standpoint, the way we do that analytics, we record a ton of log data in Mongo. We then use MapReduce to periodically generate kind of aggregate data, which is what you actually see as a partner that logs into our dashboard. So that's basically what we do with Bouce. I think with the data we have, there are a lot of other ways we can go. One of the things that we're about to release is user-level data. So already on our platform, you can see the top commenters on your videos and drill into that and see which videos they watch, which videos they comment on. And you can see the basic data that we pull from either Facebook or Twitter when they log in via OAuth. And we're moving more and more in that direction of giving you very detailed analytics on not only your commenters, but also the viewers of your videos. Kind of like if you've used Mixpanel, how you have both event data and user data. So we think that we offer a very compelling event data model right now. And we're offering more and more user data in about the next month. Like I said, our focus is really driving engagement, by offering point-in-time commentary and annotation, and the analytics that comes along with that, we think is really compelling. So if you have any questions, please find me later, ask me, or my co-founder, Wendell. I should mention, actually, I meant to mention this earlier. Before this, Wendell started LiveOps, which is you guys probably know, it does about $200 million in revenue a year. They're a work-from-home call center company. Teleo, which sold to AOL, and eVoice. Teleo, which sold to Microsoft, and eVoice, which sold to AOL. So yeah, that's Bouce. Thank you guys. Check it out. And you guys don't even get to play the Jaws music for me. So.
Here's some applause for the first person who finished with an hour left to spare. That's, I mean, sorry, minute.
Wow, God, I should
I know.
All right. Here's why you don't need to use MapReduce to do real-time.
So, judges, what did you think? Any questions?
So video analytics, totally get the value proposition. I guess the biggest question I have is, in a world where Google can offer this for free, or companies that are intermediating the media buying tend to give away a lot of analytics in order to get their spend on the media. How are you going to compete, and how are you going to charge just for analytics?
Hey, that's a great question. So the short answer is we're not charging just for analytics. So, and also, I want to preface it by first saying also that YouTube and others that provide video analytics, they don't on the embedded side. So if you're embedding third-party content from YouTube, you don't get any analytics on that right now. And things like Google Analytics and Mixpanel aren't really targeted specifically at doing video.
Okay.
But beyond that, so we don't charge specifically for the analytics. And in fact, the analytics are free. What really our focus is on these engagement tools, the point-in-time commenting. And so there we have a freemium model, a lot like if you're familiar with Discuss, how Discuss has paid tiers, which remove branding, give you more advanced analytics, that kind of stuff. And free tiers, which are promoted by native ads, which in their case they call promoted discovery.
Other questions?
But this is B2B, so publishers are going to pay you for the premium capability of your analytics.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So do you have any initial pilots or people that are trying it, and what are the results so far?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So we were founded very recently in 2013. So we are working with some partners. We have some letters of intent signed. We're building out integrations with them right now, but none of them have launched yet. So I'm kind of hesitant to talk about specific names, if that makes sense.
And how are the comments going to be displayed? So how are they in the video itself? Are they in the bottom like SoundCloud? How does it work?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I really wish I could show you guys on the screen.
Act it out.
But yeah, actually, you guys should, like, if you have a computer in front of you, just go to Bouce.com and you can see. But basically, what we found, we tested a couple of things. We tested them popping up on the timeline, like on SoundCloud. We tested showing them literally over the video, where you could choose a position. And what we found got the best response was showing them alongside the video. So it's in this kind of channel to the right. They pop up at the time they're left. They stay there. There's an algorithm we use to decide how long they stay, and then they slide up.
And these are all text comments, or?
Yeah, exactly. They're text comments. You can reply to those comments, so they can be nested. Yeah.
What kind of what kind of content lends itself the best for commenting?
That's also a great question. So I think you can think of a lot of kind of content where specific moments carry a lot of weight. So sports are great. With sports content, you'll be looking at something like a 30-minute video, and there are only a couple plays that really matter or that you really want to talk about. And so leaving comments on the entire video, like you would if you were using Facebook comments or something, it's very hard to have conversations about specific moments in that. And you'll see, actually, if you go to blogs that post this kind of content, you'll see people in the comments and text comments saying, like, at 0 minutes, 32 seconds, something. And that's kind of the problem that we're addressing, is people are already trying to leave comments like that, and they can't. So sports are good. Video game content's really good. And you can see Twitch has had a lot of success with video game content. With that kind of like, for them it's chat, not point-in-time commentary, but there's definitely similarities there. So I think those are two that are really good to start with. I think there's certain kinds of news content too that's pretty good.
Have you thought about seeding some commentary, like getting Coach Harbaugh, for example, to comment on a football game or something to get people used to the idea of commenting? And
yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things we're working with the media partners that we're going to be launching late spring. We're lining up the media partners and then people to kind of see the comments and drive people initially to it. So we kind of have a demo on our destination site on Bouce.com. Really seeding commentary content and getting people to visit it will really happen when we launch the first test with media partners.
Great.
Any other questions?
So what's the objective of the brand? Are they trying to get more views? Are they trying to get content distribution, or just awareness of their brand?
So for the publishers and stuff that post it, so There are a couple things. One is to drive in-video engagement. So to get people to, the thesis is that by being able to comment at specific moments and seeing where people have commented, people will be able to find the most interesting points. They'll stick around in videos that otherwise they might not. Also, the fact that the comments integrate really closely with Twitter and Facebook, we think that should drive social engagement or social discovery as well. We use custom Facebook open graph actions so that when you comment, assuming you opt in, it shows up on your Facebook feed as Steven commented on a video on Bouce, and there's a screenshot and the text of my comment.
And presumably they can sell that for a higher price.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you to Bouce.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
All right, our second presenter is Brander. It's a pretty easy name to remember, I guess. And they allow brands the opportunity to share their products with influencers. And presenting from Brander is Robert Graham.
Hey guys. My name's Robert Graham. Today I'm going to be presenting Brander. What Brander is, it's a mobile network of influencers who are both large and small. And what we do is we work with emerging brands, startups, existing brands, and we help them to create and control conversation on social media instantaneously. So the way this works is we've developed a mobile app, and the mobile app is utilized by our influencers. And when I say influencers, I'm not talking about A-list celebrities or the top-tier talent. I'm talking about real people that have an influence on social media. Generally, we like to stick to people that have around 5,000 followers or more to consider them an influencer. And what happens is they actually download our app. When they download our app, we pull all of their information, we scrape information about them, and we place them into specific verticals in our back end. Very, very targeted verticals. The way this works, once they're placed into the verticals, is I'll go through a quick example. Say Nike is our brand partner, and they want to promote a new shoe release at the end of the month. They want to reach males between the ages of 18 and 25 that are interested in sports, have talked about sports on social, etc. They come to us, they set up a campaign, and they say, hey, we want to reach these specific people. We want a massive amount of awareness and conversation created around our shoe at the end of the month at these specific times. We then push out our campaign to our influencer network that falls into that demo. And the way this works is we push it out directly through an app. So our influencers will receive a push notification directly to their phone that says, Brander sent you a new offer. They can open up that offer and review the offer details, in this instance being from Nike. They can review the details about the offer and the content that we have pre-populated in that offer. We then allow our influencers to adjust the content so that it comes off in their true voice. So if they're funny or they're sarcastic or they speak in a certain way, they can adjust that content inside of the app and press approve or deny. We have the ability to lock in specific features of that content, hashtags, at mentions, links, or we can lock in the entire message altogether based on the client preference. Once the influencer actually approves that message, we have the ability to let that go out instantaneously, or we can capture the message into our back-end system all at once. So say we push it out to 5,000 people that fit in that demo. 4,000 of them approve. We capture all 4,000 messages into our system. We can then release those messages at any specific time. So if Nike wants to talk about their new shoe release on Friday at noon throughout the weekend, we can release 4,000 messages from very, very targeted influencers between the times of 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. throughout the weekend, creating a massive amount of awareness and conversation around their new shoe release on social media across platforms. Once the messaging is released, we track everything that happens on our back end. So we see the engagements, we see the comments, we see the likes, we see the mentions, the shares, the trending hashtags, we see the top performers in the campaign, et cetera, et cetera. We then provide all that data to our client, and they get to see what's going on in the campaign. What we've been doing recently, which has been very, very cool, is working a lot on Instagram. We've been pushing out creative in the form of pictures and 15-second video clips. Now, the 15-second video clips act as a commercial of sorts. It really highlights the apps that we're working with, the features of the app, the product-based companies that we're working with, whatever company it is that we're working with, we're able to highlight that in 15-second video clips and pictures and create a ton of engagement, massive amount of downloads, a ton of comments, across the platform. It's been really, really effective for us. Our app version 2 is being released in early April, which is integrating a lot of new features. We're allowing people to sign up through different platforms. Our analytics are going to be much more robust, and that's Brander. Minute 15
Another
left.
one. Look at that. Getting short. I like that. Before we get to the judges, we have some audience questions.
Sure.
One is maybe can you get a little bit more granular about the offer and what you're actually compensating, how the influencers are compensated?
Right, so we have an algorithm that prices our influencers out based on their true reach and engagement levels. So we weed out any bots, any people that are fake that are following you. So, there's people across social that have 500,000 followers, right? We have an algorithm that weeds out the fake followers. So if you have 500,000 followers, we'll do an audit on you and see that you have truly 100,000 followers, and we'll price you out based on the amount of true followers you have and the engagement level that you're at, average engagement level that you're at across the posts. So that's how we price out our influencers, and that's the price that they receive when we push out the offers to them.
It's a cash price. It's not.
It's a cash price, yes.
Okay.
We do product offers as well, but we have been mainly focused on cash offers.
So like someone who's like super crazy influential, how much could they expect?
Right, I mean, we have guys on Instagram that we're paying a pretty hefty sum. I think the maximum amount that we've paid to a guy named Hayes Greer, who's insanely crazy on Instagram. I mean, he gets like 150,000 people commenting on all of his pictures. We paid him, I think, around $1,000 for one post.
One post, that's not bad.
I mean, he's 15 years old, so, $1,000 goes a long way.
You talked about Nike.
Yeah.
Are there other success stories that you've had so far?
We work with a lot of, what we've been really focused on recently are applications and entertainment. We're able to create a massive buzz and a massive conversation. And when you're offering a free app, that's huge. I mean, these people build these really cool apps, and they really don't have a huge, an effective way of getting that out there and creating a lot of awareness and buzz around the app once it's built. We can do that at a very, very, high level.
Anybody else doing this?
There's some competitors in the space. We're the only mobile play, so we're the only people that can push out an offer to any one of you sitting here right now. You can get an offer from us, review those offer details, review the content, and either approve or deny that offer. There are people, IZEA does something similar to us, a couple others. Adley was a company that worked with mainly top-tier influencers and the larger brands. That's not what we're going for. We're going for the real people with real engagement, on a mid-tier, low-tier level, but we do it at scale. So we can push it out to thousands of people, create a massive conversation, and really track what's going on through real people.
So I think you touched on this already, but I've gotten two tweets about this. So let me what's the short version of how you're different from Clout?
How we're different from Clout? So Clout assigns a score, based on your relevance on social media. What we're doing is we're pushing hyper-targeted content through our branded partners to people that it makes sense to, for them to promote. So if I already talk about sports, or I already talk about entertainment or fashion or whatever it is, we're going to push you products, or we're going to push you offers that make sense for you to talk about. So we're providing them content to talk about. We're providing them with new cutting-edge products that they may not know about, or their followers may not know about, new apps, new movie releases, independent films, TV shows, whatever it is. We're providing a pathway for these people to not only put original content on their feeds, but promote something that they're genuinely interested in, and also get paid for it.
How many influencers do you have, or how many influencers are out there?
We currently utilize around 4,000 influencers in our system. We're relatively new. We're working on a lot of our tech stuff right now. So, we're growing rapidly just off of the influencers that we're using to date. There's been a lot of referrals and people downloading our app just organically. We also have, curated a lot of the people that we have on our platform to date. Just reaching out to them, whether it's via email if they have it on their profile, or tweeting at them. I mean, we've taken every step necessary to get in touch with a lot of these people.
And how automated is the offer process? You mentioned that you're trying to match the offer with the influencer.
Yeah, so we scrape a lot of the information. We know a lot of the information once they sign up, once they download our app. We pull that into our system. We vet everything, and then we place them into specific verticals and categories on our back end. So we know if you're associated with a specific group, age, gender, location, whatever it may be, that makes sense for this offer. We then put those groups into the offer, and then we just literally upload the content, push a button, and it goes out to everybody directly to their phone.
How many people? Where are you based?
I'm based in Santa Monica. Yeah.
How many people?
Right. Oh, there's 5 people on our team currently.
How many?
5.
5.
Yeah.
So one of the most important things about earned media is authenticity.
Right.
And how do you manage how authentic the messaging, the voice of your influencers are, given that they are paid to be creating these posts. Because I mention this because if you do something blatant, it doesn't necessarily be a positive one for the brand. Like if we did a selfie with my new Galaxy S4 here. Here we go. Let's go. Yes, and
This is totally going to compete with the Ellen one, I think.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get retweets of this.
We're going to top it.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, anyway, so you can see what I mean.
Yeah, so I mean, I totally get what you mean. What we like to do is we like to have our influencers push out the content in an organic way. And by that, we allow them to adjust the content in their voice. So like I said, we can lock in specific features of that message, but outside of that, we allow them to talk how they would normally talk. So if it's a 15-year-old kid like Hayes, and he's talking about this, new cool app, Backchat or Snippet or whatever it was, he's like, oh man, this app is really cool. You guys should check it out. I just downloaded it. I've been unanimously texting my friend. It's amazing or whatever. We allow them to do that, and then we see all that messaging when they approve that campaign as it comes in, and then it gets pushed out. So we really like it to be authentic. We like it to be organic. We don't want it to be, hey, click here for 20% off this product. It's crap. It's not going to work. People aren't going to be interested. So we make it as organic as possible when we do push out those campaigns.
Great. Well, thank you to Brander.
Yeah, thanks.
By the way, so just a reminder that at any point, if you have questions for whoever's presenting, feel free to tweet at Anthony Ha. In fact, one of my most recent tweets was talking about how good-looking and intelligent Robert is, which is interesting. If you want to, comment about our appearance, feel free. Again, at Anthony Ha. So our next presenter is an ad network based on posing questions on existing online content, and it's Jebbit. And presenting from Jebbit is Jonathan Lacoste.
How's everyone doing this morning? Good? Great, awesome. So I'm very well aware that we are at the halfway point of when your caffeine consumption is probably not as effective and the urge to fall asleep is probably continuing to rise. So we're going to try and keep this entertaining, engaging, and pretty straight into the point so that you guys know why this is so relevant. So as Anthony mentioned, my name is Jonathan Lacoste. I'm the co-founder and COO of Jebbit. One question, so I've been here for the past 2 days listening to all the panels and the conferences that I've been getting a lot, surprisingly, is how old are you? I'm a little offended. I'm not quite 14. I know there's an 11-year-old in the audience, so I am older than him. But so I'm 21. We started this company 3 years ago when we were undergraduates at Boston College. And you might be asking yourself, why are 3 college students starting an advertising technology company? What is the urge? You didn't have a social life or anything better to do than start an advertising technology company? And essentially what we did was we found this opportunity within advertising as a casual internet browser around guaranteed engagement. We found this issue that we were watching a Hulu TV show and a 30-second pre-roll video ad appeared. And our first instinct as a college student was to go to Facebook because we knew we had 30 seconds before we could come back. And we had no idea what brand or advertiser we had just been exposed to. And so that started this concept of let's create a platform based on guaranteed engagement. And more than that, we don't want just engagement. We want consumers to actually take quality actions where businesses are getting real results. So Jebbit powers what's called post-click engagement. It's this gap in the marketplace between targeted traffic and media buys and the creative side. We work with advertisers, and we don't mess with anything with their ad units, who they're targeting. That's all the same. If anything, we can probably work with most of the other ad techs that are up here. But what Jebbit does is conversion optimization. So once someone clicks on your ad, and it doesn't matter if it's display, if it's mobile, if it's social, if it's native, our technology plugs into the content post-click and helps engage and convert users more often. Now, we're really excited about the solution, of course, that we're developing, but we've gotten some other people on board as well about how excited this solution could potentially be for the industry. We've raised millions of dollars from venture capitalists, and it ended up dropping out of school because we were so positive that this was going to be a success. We have over 150 clients in almost every vertical imaginable that have used our technology and are continuing to use our technology because it has proven success. CNBC rated us one of the top 25 most promising companies in the world, and I'm proud to announce that just last week alone, South by Southwest rated Jebbit as the #1 startup at the event. So we've had some great traction, but that doesn't necessarily answer the question of what the heck do you do? So To get a little bit more in detail, I'll give another Uber reference for Terry. So Uber is one of our clients. We actually have Lyft as well. So it's interesting to be able to work with both of them. And what Uber essentially used Jebit for was they were buying display and social media to run user acquisition campaigns, something I'm sure a lot of you have clients that are currently doing. And so what we did was essentially, again, we didn't change anything with who they were targeting or what the call to action or what the ad unit looked like. But our technology plugs in to the web content once someone goes to their page. And so we worked with Uber as they're launching in expanding markets. So Columbus, Ohio, Kansas City, Missouri, markets where people, if you're not in New York, LA, or Boston, you don't know what the heck Uber is. So our technology is actually an interactive question and answer process where we will get consumers to understand and learn about the brand by going through almost what some people call a quiz or a tutorial. And you might ask yourself, why would consumers be so willing to do so? Well, the first reason is a lot of the times, the brand provides some sort of reward. It's not necessarily incentive marketing in the sense that there has to be a reward for our platform, because we work with brands like Accenture that don't offer rewards. But something that we find is that this reward, and in Uber's case, it was a $20 promo code for your first ride, helped incentivize users to stay on the website longer. Our average time of engagement was over 4 minutes, and helped increase the amount of people that were willing to download the app on the spot. And the overall case study, it's something that we look at a lot with the data, is we dropped Uber's acquisition costs by over 60%. So we're approaching this in a fairly unorthodox way, but the results are there. We've been able to increase Bouce's brand awareness when they do product launches by 3 times, and there are a bunch of other interesting stats that I'd be happy to share as well. So the 3 main takeaways: CPCA, it's our advertising model. It means pay per performance. Post-click engagement, we don't mess with your media. And 3, let's have some questions.
I didn't think you were going to make it. I didn't think you were going to make it. But so my first question is, do you use Uber or Lyft more often?
I don't think I should say.
All right, judges, please.
I have both downloaded on my phone. Depends on what city I'm in and what's available.
And who your next meeting is with.
What's that?
And depending on whether you're meeting with one or the other, so you can show
exactly,
them on
of
the
course,
app.
yeah.
I'm curious, who funded you?
Yeah, so we're based in Boston. That's where the company's based. So we started off, our first angel investor was actually on a program like this. It wasn't the real Shark Tank, but Boston Angels hosted their own version of Shark Tank. Dharmesh Shah of HubSpot, the founder of HubSpot, he was our first investor. We have some other powerful angels as well. John Simon, who founded General Catalyst and is now at Sigma Prime. And then the VC firms that jumped in were Data Point Capital, which is a new VC fund, entrepreneur-driven, Boston Seed Capital, and a number of other angels from Silicon Valley. So.
And how many people do you have at the company now?
It's 16 employees. We're in the midst of opening a New York office, and hopefully an LA one soon. I love the weather here.
Other questions? So in terms of like what would sort of prevent someone else from sort of replicating what you're doing, is sort of the advantage in sort of how you're able to integrate with the existing content, or can you just talk a little bit about how you differentiate?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So there are a couple of things that really differentiate us in terms of defensibility. So the first one is the ease of use. So when we work with agencies, they love to hear that you don't have to work with the tech team and there's no code required, not even a single line, to put this technology on your website, which I know sounds impossible, but it's true. And it takes 20 minutes because we have the infrastructure already set up on a self-serve platform where you can basically go on and create these plugins. So it's extremely simple from that. The other piece of defensibility we have is we have an analytics portal that is taking a look at the success of all these campaigns and basically optimizing in real time what the best way to convert users is after they've clicked on an ad. So not only are we using that on an individual client-by-client basis to figure out how can we optimize their spend, but at the same time, we're using that and aggregating it across industries so we know where automotive, the best places to spend your dollars are and the best ways to convert users across an entire industry.
And we actually have a question from John Montgomery, the man who made this all happen, which is that encouraging consumers to respond to advertising, people have attempted that before, it hasn't really sort of taken off. How are you different?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Why is it that trying to engage consumers through advertising hasn't worked before?
Yep.
And what are you doing that's different that's going to make it work?
So I think one of the panelists summed it up pretty well yesterday. I actually wish he was here to kind of help pitch the business. He did it so well. But his line was something along the words of, you'd be surprised what consumers are willing to tell us or what they're willing to do. And so the first thing is that we've really latched onto that, and we've found through a number of studies that as simple as it sounds, if you are giving someone a reward or you're just inviting them to your content, it's not going to be as effective as if you make them unlock or earn this. And so what we've seen is that we're inviting people in, almost, I'm a college kid, so imagine a house party as an example. You invite the invitees, that's your media. You have the house and you have the snacks and everything set up, that's your creative content. But no one's going around and giving you the tour. That's what we do. We're essentially the people that are going to show you what's important. And we find that consumers are really interested. It makes them more comfortable with the brand if they know where everything's at.
How big of a commitment is required on behalf of the agencies? Can they use this on a campaign-by-campaign basis? Or is this something you've got to sell bigger in terms of a broader contract with them?
We'd love to do more of two. We license the technology on a 3, 6, or 12-month basis. And the reason we do that is essentially it gives agencies the flexibility to use this across any account so that it's not just limited to one specific account. We do work on a campaign-by-campaign basis. We understand that agencies love to test and innovate first before they jump into bed with an ad tech vendor. And so what we'll do is it's on a cost per correct answer where agencies will only have to pay when consumers are actually engaging or taking actions after they click on the ad.
I'm still struggling with the scalability. I mean, it sounds like it's like a great idea, a great way to do it. I'm just wondering about the scalability of the system. It sounds like it's a commitment to do this for every single campaign or client, and 20 minutes sounds like a really short period of time to create a survey with a $20 coupon.
Mm-hmm.
How scalable is this? I mean, how often are companies going to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So the one thing that we're continuing to focus on is continuing to innovate the experience so that it's not always stagnant and it's not always the same. The first way that we did this was we changed it so that instead of just answering questions, you can actually go ahead and interact with the content below. So there's actually ways that you can click and drag and move things around. The second way is we put social plugins on it so you can go ahead and share this directly to social media. So I know that doesn't necessarily address the issue of how does this scale across the entire industry, but it answers the question of clients are going to keep using us for different reasons each time: brand awareness, social, user acquisition, purchases, and we're hoping that will scale client to client.
Great, thanks. Oh,
How many clients did you say? 120?
150.
150.
Yep.
Cool, well, thanks a lot to Jebit.
All right, thank you.
All right, our fourth presenter is Triple Lift, which is a visual advertising solution. And presenting from Triple Lift is Frank Morgano.
Hey, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Triple Lift is thrilled to be asked to participate in this. I'm going to start with just a brief, this is what we do, and this is why you should be voting for us. Triple Lift is in the native advertising space. We create the most beautiful, most elegant native ads that are seamlessly integrated into the content stream of mid-tail and short-tail sites. For the last 10 years, writers have been writing about the death of the banner, And here we are, 2014. The banner is doing quite well. It's still one of the dominant forms of display advertising, and if anything does manage to drive dollars away from banners, it's not going to be some new whiz-bang format or a technology. It's going to be shifting consumer behavior. In fact, right now there is a fundamental shift in the way consumers consume content. Right? They're Snapchatting, they're Facebooking, they're pinning. Everything we do is visual. The image is the new currency in communication. And as consumers flock to websites, to properties that are visual in nature, the Pinterest, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the established media players, these are very smart people. They see what's happening. They know what their audiences want. They are adapting to this visual web. As they adapt, they redesign. I don't know if anyone goes to recently to NBCnews.com. NBCnews.com has completely redesigned their site. It looks amazing, completely visual. No text headlines. It's just big, beautiful images. Banners don't fit. I mean, you can fit them, but they don't fit in this new visual world. This is an enormous opportunity. It's an enormous challenge for everyone in this room, those of us. This is what we do. But it's also an amazing opportunity. I'm going to use Facebook as an example because We're not allowed visuals. The truth is, if you choose to go to 4A.triplelift.com, we do have some demos you can look at. But since not all of you are going to do that, let's use Facebook. Facebook, at some point, they said we need to start driving substantial ad revenue. The current options for ads, banners, doesn't work for us. We need something that will not drive away our audience and will deliver meaningful ROI for our clients. What do? The sponsored post. I love the sponsored post. The sponsored post looks exactly like the content in the news feed. It's integrated into the news feed, and yet it's clearly labeled an ad, sponsored post. That is native advertising done well. This is what Triple Lift does. Triple Lift does that for the rest of the web. So I have 2 minutes left. What I'm going to do is try to explain what we do and how we do it at the same time. Our assets, our creative assets, are a brand's images. The images they use for magazines and for their online catalogs or their printed catalogs. These are their assets. They spend so much money building. We take those assets and transform them into native ads that are as beautiful as anything, all of the content around it on the page. We have very sophisticated computer vision technology, lots of patents. Takes the images, and it knows instantly what is in that image. Is it a person? Is it a car? Is it a turkey dinner? What is the context? And when we size this image to fit into the content of pages, how do we make it fit? I mean, we don't have the luxury of building for a 300 by 250. Right? Every site is designed differently, every content page slightly differently. So what happens, this is what happens. A consumer goes to one of our sites. The page renders. As the page renders, Triple Lift renders as well. We're not delivering into an iframe. This is not a DFP call. We're rendered with the page as part of the content. Our technology does two things, right? There's an image, and then there's corresponding text. We immediately identify the aspect ratio, the size of the image that's needed. Our computer vision technology, in about half of an eye blink, figures out exactly how that image needs to be sized and cropped with the logo in that space right now. Then we scan the code of the page. We read the HTML of the page to understand the unique styling elements of that page. What's the background color? What fonts are they using? Font size, font color. So that the text and the image combined match the content on that page perfectly. Is there social functionality? If I mouse over the content and I can pin it, you'll mouse over our ad and you'll be able to pin it. It's inherently mobile. Automatically, we don't need assets for mobile and desktop. And we can get you live in 48 hours. So there's literally almost no production time whatsoever.
With 1 second to spare.
What kind of insights do you provide your clients? What can they learn?
I love that question. Normally we get into that, and with 5 minutes, it just doesn't fit. So we track everything. I mean, as an example, if I see it and I pin it, we track that pin. But I'm sure Wenda follows me on Pinterest, and you see it, and you're like, you know, that Frank, I just agree. I'm going to pin that as well. We track that as well. So in our reporting, it's not just about impressions and clicks with mouse overs. It's also pins and shares, and we do an estimate of both the paid and the earned media based on the pinning and the assumptions around the audiences that you may have reached.
So totally get the value proposition of content marketing and native and different formats that are friendlier. I guess the one of the major challenges is that advertising, after all, is an industrial process, according to Randall Rothenberg, and he's right. And so from a volumetric perspective, don't we need marketplaces for demand to be able to easily buy these kind of ads at volume?
Yes. So by a marketplace, so Triple Lift was built as an exchange. I mean, our founders are very early AppNexus guys. They understand that space extremely well. And even though we're the only one in the exchange, that does exist, and we are starting to open that up to very few select partners. As demand for native increases, programmatic's going to become a factor in that and enabling very easy and quick access to that type of inventory.
So I'll ask the same question I asked a previous presenter, which is, in the spectrum of media company versus technology platform, where do you see Triple Lift eventually going? You referenced a possible opening up your marketplace to third-party players. Will you be the platform, or will you sell media?
Do I have to choose? So right now we sell media. And having spent quite a bit of time in the technology space and selling pure technology, I thoroughly enjoy selling media, which was the first part of my career. But really, the underlying value proposition is the technology and what it enables. As Triple Lift grows, right now it's display, and in a couple of months we're going to be video. Later in the year, I think we start to see more programmatic demand, and we'll be facilitating that. I think as we grow, the technology piece of the business is what will really scale revenue. But I don't know that we necessarily exit media. I hope that addresses your question.
Okay. Well, what's more challenging for you, the demand side or the supply side?
A little chicken and egg, right?
Like, or where you're going to get to your start? Where do you need to establish a beachhead before you get the other egg going?
You need a certain amount. You need a certain amount of adoption by publishers. You need something to sell. You can't walk into an agency and say, "I have the greatest thing," and it may be the greatest thing, but you can only run it on one site. There's no value there. So we're very fortunate in that we've had a lot of outreach from publishers saying we get a lot of coverage, which helps tremendously. So publishers reach out, we integrate. It takes a little bit of time because we're doing dynamic templating, so we do have to put a little bit of work before the publisher implements our code. We have 600 properties that we're working with right now, so we have a substantial reach within native. I mean, we're exclusively delivering in that content stream. So the answer is you have to have something to sell before you can sell it. We do.
So Frick, I just want to make sure I understand your answer correctly, which is that if you want to solve the chicken and egg problem, you should get covered in TechCrunch.
I'm sorry.
Next question.
I missed that.
Which publisher do you lead with?
We don't lead with publishers. We lead with creative. Every meeting I go on, it's really just showing great ads, showing great demos, and we talk about the value, we talk about what we do. Every single one of those meetings we get asked, can we see your publisher list? And the answer is always absolutely. We're happy to share a publisher list. I'm not necessarily going to say here are every publisher we work with, but if you're The Gap or you're Nissan or you're Pepsi, we're happy to share a complete site list as it relates to who you're trying to reach. Everything we do is, it's all based on contextual relevance. I mean, native ceases to be native if I'm serving an ad targeted to a food ad, targeted to a man because we know he's interested in food, but he's on an automotive site. I mean, it may be in the content stream, but it just doesn't fit.
We live in a world that's moving programmatic rapidly. Are you RTB enabled? In other words, can you render bring together your assets and render the native ad in under 120 milliseconds?
Yes. 120 milliseconds? I'm going to say yes because as a sales guy, I'm compelled to say yes. But we are absolutely RTB enabled. We bid on our own inventory. I mean, since Triple Lift has sort of moved into this native space with the exchange, we've been doing this. I mean, that's how we do it.
Great. Well, thanks a lot to Triple Lift, and one last round of applause. All right, and we are at our final presenter of round 2, which is Canary, which makes an advertising platform for data-driven marketers called Nest. Presenting from Canary is Alex Weldon.
Hey guys, nice to see everybody. Hello. So I'm the CEO and founder of Canary, and we liken ourselves to being the real-time advertising for smart marketers. And I'm going to start off by discussing a little bit about data today. And today, I think we can all agree that all businesses are built on data. Today, businesses tend to stand and fall on data. And it used to be that sales were the only benchmark of influence and performance, but insight to move this metric from red to black generally was an educated guesswork. We spent a lot of time with spreadsheets poring over this activity. Today, as we know, actions and influence happen in real time, and the customer decision can stand on whether or not the advertiser is present, delivering key messages during the decision-making process. The world of big data has emerged as a remedy, but this strategy has added significant complexity to the equation. Our quest of the holy grail, the right message, right place, right time, has, through some significant investment in the ad tech market, begun to highlight the opportunities that lie within big data. But advertising with such complexity has to date not been for the faint of heart. Data fragmentation, systems integrations, massive technical infrastructure, the journey has been transformative to say the least. Poring over spreadsheets just simply was not the answer to today's challenges. It takes a lot to process that information. Our role as advertisers morphed from messenger to mathematician. At Canary, we discovered that first-party data provides a solution to this problem. Data sets maintained in client systems openly expose not only the KPIs our clients expect to impact from advertising, but also the audiences that we need to find and connect with during the course of the customer journey. It provides the opportunity for us to maintain lasting relationships with our clients by more closely integrating our marketing efforts and sharing data with one another. It most importantly allows us to refocus our efforts as advertisers on the message and not the math. Now imagine if there was a platform that could intake and interpret data, delivering customized audience buckets in real time. This would grant direct access to an advertiser's customer's DNA, findable, accessible, and contextualized. Imagine if there was a platform that could provide the ability to align advertising efforts across the complete customer journey, identifying key touch points where each ad could influence at its best. And now, imagine if there was a platform that could then reach those audiences across multiple screens and channels, dynamically optimizing the message for each customer. And finally, a platform capable of streaming real-time results, allowing marketers to adjust and refine the campaign intuitively and effortlessly. Now, we believe Canary Nest is the answer to this equation. We've created a robust API to enable onboarding of various data sets with ease. From business intelligence, to consumer trends, to offline GRP data, we integrate it all. Now, to understand this data, we've also built a suite of powerful analytics and segmentation software that can drill down this data, identifying the entire customer journey, providing targetable buckets and the best user touchpoints. All this sits on a scalable, easy-to-use media backbone that enables advertisers to reach customers across multiple channels. In the 14 months we've been in business, we've built, tested, and delivered campaigns across the globe. We've managed to increase lifetime customer value by over 400% for customers like Bank de Suisse. We've reduced sophisticated campaign flight times by 30% for Land Rover. On the technology side, we pioneered activity streaming capabilities to let advertisers watch campaign refinements unfold in real time. We've baked in A/B testing across the board, from landing pages to ad units to strategies and segments. And we feel we've entirely outdone ourselves with the most beautiful UX in the business, delivering complex solutions simply and effectively. We believe too much time is being spent on the math and not the message. And we'd like to help you solve that problem. Thank you. Sure.
Has any questions for Canary, just tweet me at Anthony Ha, but let's turn it over to the judges first.
It sounds like you're describing the three-letter acronym we're looking for here is DMP, right? You've got a data management platform that's doing audience segmentation, and you're providing the media buying?
Yeah, we do AluVAD. So essentially, we take that data, and that's sort of how we capture our customers, by providing that service, right. And we earn our revenue by facilitating the media buying.
Okay, so with that kind of capability, I guess my question is, I could name 30 companies doing this at much bigger scale. How do you differentiate? How do you maintain a sustainable business model in the face of that quantity of competition?
Well, we like to think that we can offer a number of different solutions based on what data is available. Our plan is to open source our API to allow access by anyone. That will be coming in the later part of this year. But we've already forged great partnerships with guys like Salesforce and SAP. We're a European-based company, so our market's a bit different in where we situate ourselves. So our market share is a little bit different in terms of what we provide for our customers that maybe are provided in the US. And we also have the added advantages of our sister company is Piwik. And I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with web analytics, but Piwik is the world's largest open source analytics platform, used by roughly 1 million websites. And to give you an idea of the scale, it's about Omniture, Kissmetrics, Web Trends combined, and we're still a bit larger. So
you're Europe-based, but you have a customer base in the US.
Yes, yes, we do. We do facilitate customers over here.
Okay. Other questions?
So I had actually the same question that Terry did. I was trying to figure out, what is unique, because you do have so many competitors. So how long have you been in business? How many people do you have?
So 14 months. On the core business team, and including engineering, we have about 20 employees. So we're mostly based in London. We also have a development office in Wrocław in Poland. Generally, in terms of differentiation, time is number one. I mean, ease of use is number two. We don't really necessarily have to rely on porting custom integrations. We try to look to our network of partners to easily do this. When you're trying to line up the data required to build customized and adaptive targeting buckets, I mean, across the entire sales funnel, they change over time dramatically. So the only way to do that is to have direct connections within the software or the software that's being used by clients or agency. And we tend to use that to adjust over time. Now, the added advantage of that is that data ownership has become quite a problem amongst the industry. Clients don't want to usually give it away. But the best way to do it, we found, is to help agencies pioneer this sort of new relationship of utilizing data easily and cheaply and freely amongst their clients. And we found that they tend to build a lot longer lasting relationships. We've never lost a customer so far.
So it sounds like, if I'm just inferring here from what I've heard so far, your real strength is in the BI tools, analytics, frameworks you built around it. And you're looking for a way to monetize that, and you're using the ad serving side,
yeah, absolutely,
the media side as your business model. I think that's dangerous. That kind of puts you in no man's land. I mean, one way that I would think that it might be interesting to see if these guys would be willing to pay for a Tableau for advertising, right? To focus on a very specific user segmentation and charge a SaaS revenue stream rather than try to
It's something that we've
monetize.
definitely considered. I mean, generally, first of all, we are a private company. We don't have investors. We were at the liberty of sort of having enough cash to get going on our own and scaling on our own. But what we would like to be able to do is most likely try to really disrupt the market by offering a lot of these tools for free eventually. Insights and making sense of complex data sets is a problem that's not going to go away at any time soon, especially on how you want to adapt that sort of information for use within the advertising landscape. And I think as the main challenge, as I was trying to illustrate, was utilizing client-side data, which is usually outside of the agency model, it's difficult to get your hands on it. How do you align those resources to work together? And I think that we provide that.
Right, but I think Hami's point is about the business model. So if you're selling media, it sounds a lot like an ad network, and there's been very few exits for ad networks, whereas data providers, people providing insights, Demdex, Aggregate Knowledge, Blue Kai, and just this morning, Notice was acquired. So feels like there's creating scarcity in that space, and that's something that strategic acquirers, like the folks you say you're doing business with, are interested in.
Yeah, no, of course. I think in terms of business model and what we offer is that it's always relevant to the customer. We're not looking to outside data. First-party data is very key here. You're only doing and dealing with relevant data sets. You're doing your audience buying on the top of the funnel, and then you're relating that data and how it relates to the customer actions within the agency's customers' ecosystem. And then you're trying to loop that around to usually extend customer lifeline or life cycle and sort of move from there. So, by adding those sort of value, we get the media budget, and it allows us to profit from it. For our sake.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you very much to Canary, and one last round of applause. One last round of applause for all of our round 2 presenters, our data analytics startups. So this is again the part where you guys come in. So the voting again is you can use the app, or you can use the you can text 223 333. So that's literally 2 2s and 3 3s, if that makes any sense to you at all. So again, the startups that we had presenting in this session were Bouce for video specific commenting, Brander for sharing products with influencers, Jebit for brand engagement through Q&A, Triple Lift, advertising solution for the visual web, and Canary, which just pitched Nest, data-driven ad platform. And, let's get our votes in. Judges, before I want to get your impressions of the session, but first, I want to hear how the selfie's doing. Are we getting a lot of?
Yeah, retweet.
Yeah, please.
It's got the 4A's transformation hashtag. It took me an hour to type that, but
if this doesn't get a ton of retweets, people will not think this event is actually as big a deal as the Oscars, and we don't want anyone to think that. So please,
there we go.
Retweet it. And what did you think of the startups this time around?
Look, I think they could all use help on their pitches, but in terms of underlying, business models, it's hard to argue against the virality of mobile video. So I like Bouce for the analytics capabilities, and I do think we're going to need to have a third-party one, not just YouTube. And then Triple Lift, again, could use more help on the pitch, but the underlying concept makes a ton of sense that we're going to have more content, more native ads, and not just on the big social media platforms. And someone's going to need to do that.
I want to hire Jonathan Lacoste from Jebit. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'm kind of fascinated with that particular company. I think we continue to need a much better understanding of engagement, and I think their approach is particularly interesting. I also like Brander a lot.
There's 3 meetings I'm gonna testing. Am I on?
Can you all hear him? No. Okay.
Can you hear me right? Number 5. Anyways, I'll say there's 3 meetings I want to take. There's 3 meetings I want to take so far today. I think Brander and Jebit are 2 of the 3. Brander intrigues me. If that's a scalable business, I think that's very, very interesting. Jebit, I think that you guys are right. Jonathan is a stud, so